Hello guys, so I'm Ming. Some of you might know me as Kev or Kevin. Right, so I'm over down at Isleworth today and I've got another test route for you guys. So just currently in between lessons, was nearby, so I thought I'd pop into the test route area and film another test route for you guys. I was actually supposed to do this test route last week, but when I got round to it, it was actually started really hammering down with rain, so didn't get round to doing it in the end. But anyway, it seems to be like a nice sunny day today, so yeah, why not? Anyway, so at this roundabout, I'll be turning right, so checking my middle and right mirrors and giving a right signal. Slowing down, looking to my right hand side. Nobody coming at the moment, so off we go safely. So the test centre is a couple of roads behind me. It's called Fleming Way. I've not started from Fleming Way today because it's bound to be busy down there and I don't want to be interrupting the flow of any real driving tests. So I've started down the next road further down, which is, I think it's called Ruskin Road or Ruskin Way or something like that. Right, looks like this van driver's giving way to me. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is quite a hot day today. I'm just going to turn the AC on a little bit. Turn it up a little bit. Hopefully the sound of the fan doesn't disturb the sound on the recording of the video. Right, anywho, so we're down Wharton Road at the minute. As you can see, it's a fairly tight road. You've got cars parked on either side, so do expect some meeting traffic scenarios, such as the one I've got right now. Just slowing down, keeping a safe distance from the car in front. I'm just going to stay here because there's about 3 cars coming down the road, so I might as well give way to them because I can't really fit through there at the moment. A bit of a tight squeeze. Right, there's no more cars. Well, there is an Audi, but if I pop out here, we should be able to get past each other. Thank you very much. Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to be going straight ahead. So taking the second exit here at the roundabout. Just see where this van's going. He's going straight. How about the blue car? He's turning my way, so I better let the blue car go first. The next car's coming my way as well. I'll give way to them. That Range Rover's pretty far away, so I've got time to nip across here safely. Right, so we've now entered Bridge Road. Heading down Bridge Road, it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed zone. In a moment, we're going to come face to face with a very narrow bridge. It's one of those humpback bridges. I believe the bridge goes over the railway track. So as I get a little bit closer to the bridge, obviously I'm going to slow the car down a little bit in anticipation that there could be a vehicle coming from the other direction. If it's another car, no real problem. If it's a bigger vehicle such as a van or a bus, then it might be a bit of a tight squeeze going over that bridge. We've got a mini roundabout coming up here, so I'm going to be following the road ahead, taking the second exit at this particular mini roundabout. Checking to my right hand side, and there's nobody coming that I need to give way to, so it's safe to carry on going. And then on the other side of this roundabout, we come across a set of traffic lights a little bit further up the road. So when I get to the set of traffic lights, I'll be turning right. So like I said before, this is Bridge Road, and when I turn right at the traffic lights, I'll be turning into a road called London Road. When we turn into London Road, the speed limit changes from 20 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour. You should be able to see some road signs coming up, actually. I'll try and point them out to you as I get a little bit closer to those signs. There's one definitely on the right hand side I can see now, and there's one on the left hand side as well. So basically they're about maybe 2.5 meters up in the air, these signs. And they both say 30 miles an hour, so basically it tells you once you've gone past those signs, you've entered a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone. So anything after those traffic lights is a 30 zone. Right, so just waiting for those traffic lights to change patiently. They do stay red for quite some time, so hopefully I'll be able to get through the next set of traffic lights. Otherwise we'll have to wait for another set of traffic lights. If it takes too long, guys, I'm just going to speed up this part of the video, so yeah, don't be surprised if you see cars whizzing past me really quickly. It's just because I've sped up the video. Okay guys, so we've successfully turned right onto London Road. Didn't have to wait for another cycle of traffic lights after all. So like I said before, the speed limit on this particular road is now 30 miles an hour. There's a cycle lane on my left hand side with a solid white line, so we should not be driving into that cycle lane. Zebra crossing coming up, just scanning left and right. There is a guy waiting to cross the road, so I'll check my mirrors, slow down and allow the guy to cross the road. Okay, checking my mirrors again, making sure there's no cyclists or motorbikes beside me, looking left and right to make sure there's no other pedestrians waiting to cross the road, and then carrying on when it's safe to do so. Okay, so still in this 30 zone, still got a cycle lane on my left hand side with a solid white line, so don't drive inside the cycle lane. Looking ahead, we've got a zebra crossing, scanning left and right. There's nobody waiting on this occasion to cross the road, so it's safe to proceed. Got a few parked cars here on the left hand side, so just keeping a safe distance away from the cars in case anyone opens the door or pedestrian steps out into the road. Okay, so we've got a little bend here, just going round the bend, going past the fire station, and we're actually going to be taking the next road on the left, which is called Harvard Road, I believe. So we're going past West Thames College here, and it'll be the next road on the left. So checking my mirrors, middle and left signal comes on. Going to slow down and got to pop back into first gear on this occasion because the car in front of me has stopped to give way to a car coming out of Harvard Road. So looking into the road, there's nobody there, can safely turn in, checking my mirrors, safe to carry on. Okay, so we've entered a 20 mile an hour speed zone now, so back to 20 miles an hour. I didn't see any signs as I turned in, but I did notice a massive 20 miles an hour road markings painted on the actual road surface, so that's obviously good enough to let you know that the speed limit has changed to 20 miles an hour. Okay, now at the end of the road I'll be turning right, so checking my middle and right mirrors on approach and then giving a right signal. I'll be stopping at the end of the road here because it's a closed junction. I cannot see what's happening on this new road, so I need to pause here for a moment to look carefully both ways. There's nothing coming from either direction, so off we go safely. Checking my free mirrors as I enter the new road, checking middle and right now to move out away from these two parked cars. There's a bend here, so I'm just going to carefully go back onto my side of the road so that I'm on the correct side of the road as I go around the corner. Okay, nothing round the bend, safe to proceed. Very shortly I'll be turning left, so not the next road on the left, but it'll be the next one after that, I believe. Yeah, so the road on the left here actually is the one that takes us back on the road where we just came off, so back onto London Road. So checking my middle and left mirrors and then giving a left signal. Looks like there could be some roadworks here. I can see a roadworks sign just coming back onto this onto London Road, so we might be here a little while waiting for any temporary traffic lights to change. Yeah, so again, if it takes a long time I'll be speeding up this section of the video because yeah, I can anticipate round the bend there might be a set of temporary traffic lights for the roadworks. Okay guys, there is indeed roadworks here and there is indeed a temporary traffic light, so that's why it's taking so long for the traffic to move on this particular road. I mean, London Road is normally quite busy anyway, but obviously with some roadworks here, it's taking a little bit longer to get through the traffic. So normally when you turn left out of that road, it's fairly simple. But yeah, like I said, obviously on this occasion, it's there's a bit of a traffic jam. Right then, the lights are green and we're off. Taking the next road coming up on the left hand side here, so checking my middle and left mirrors, signal left and into a road called Avenue Road. Oh, there's a guy on one of those dodgy scooters on my side of the road, so just allowing him to get out of the way first. Pretty dangerous from that guy just cutting across there when I was turning in. Luckily I saw him. Okay, at the end of the road I'll be turning right, so checking my middle and right mirrors and give a right signal. Okay, so slowing the car down, a little bit of braking, clutch down, roll it back into first gear. There's another closed junction here, so I'll be stopping to look carefully both ways. Appears to be safe, so I'm going to edge out into the road and complete my turn. And then at the end of this road, I'll be turning left, so checking my middle and left mirrors and giving a left signal. Keeping well over to the left-hand side, slowing the car down, back into first gear. Again, looking both ways to make sure it's safe before I creep out into the road. There's a slight bend here, guys, with parked cars on both sides, so look out for any potential meeting traffic scenarios. At the moment it looks clear, so I'm just going to carry on going ahead, and we'll be taking the next road coming up on the right hand side. There is a blue car there, hopefully they'll stop there to give way to me, and yes they have. Thank you very much. Checking middle and right mirrors, signal right. It's a fairly sharp turn here, so I'm just going to pop back into first gear, turning in reasonably slowly to make sure I don't cut the corner. Okay, and then at the end of the road where the giveaway lines are, I'm not going to be turning left or right, I'm going to be going straight ahead, so just following the road directly ahead. Slowing the car down into first gear, stopping at the giveaway line so I can look both ways. Creeping slightly further forward so I can see past the red car on my right. It looks safe, and then off I go into the road directly opposite. Right, so we're now on a road called Northumberland Avenue. Okay, so we're going to stick on this road all the way towards the end, and when we get to the end of the road we'll be turning left. Okay, so as you can see, this road is just a pretty long road. It's fairly wide. Occasionally it can be quite busy. You've got cars parked on either side, so beware of any potential meeting traffic scenarios. But besides that, it's a fairly straightforward road. It's one of those roads where, again, it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, so you can't be going too fast anyway, which is a good thing, I guess, because it gives you plenty of time to see what's going on ahead of you if you need to make any decisions in regards to giving way to traffic or looking out for cars that may have given way to you, so it will allow you to proceed up the road without having to stop. Okay, so let's look up the road. I've got a blue car coming towards me, so I'm going to just drop off the gas, slow down a little bit, allow the blue car to move over to their left hand side, and then I can carry on going safely through this narrow space here between the parked cars. Okay, so we come into the end of the road soon, so like I said, when we get to the end of the road we'll be taking a left turn. Once you've turned left you're going to be onto a really busy road. I think it's Scion Lane we're turning onto, and then you're going to be face to face with a set of traffic lights. So we're going to go straight on at these traffic lights. So just following the road ahead at the traffic lights here. Right, traffic lights have gone green, so the cars have started moving, so I'm just going to slot myself into the left lane to allow myself to go straight on here. That was indeed Scion Lane, so straight on at the big crossroad junction here, so we're just going over the A4, basically the Great West Road. Check my middle and right mirrors here because I need to go past this parked van. So we've got a mini roundabout coming up. I'm going to go straight on here at the mini roundabout. There's actually two lanes here, so I'm keeping over to the left lane, checking towards my right hand side. Safe to go. At the next roundabout we're going to be going straight, following the road ahead. It's quite wide here, so I'm going to keep well over to the left hand side because the right lane people can use if they want to go into Tesco. Checking to my right hand side, I think it's safe to go after this red car, just keeping well over to the left, just in case somebody wants to turn right into Tesco's. A common mistake there would be cars just cutting straight across the roundabout, so straight lining it rather than steering over to the left and keeping in their lanes properly. Yeah, don't do that on your driving test because you might end up getting marked down. You could even get a serious fault if there's a car waiting to turn into Tesco. Right, more roadworks here then. Luckily the traffic lights are green now, otherwise we would have had to stop again and wait for ages for those lights to change. Okay, so I've just gone past Osterley Tesco's and still down Scion Lane. Speed limit is still 20 mile an hour. The traffic has stopped in front of me, so there's either some roadworks or something's happened, because normally there's not too much traffic down this particular road, to be honest. I'm guessing there's roadworks again. I've not been down this road for a little while, so I'm not sure if there are roadworks, but going by what we've come across so far during this test route, there seems to be roadworks on every other road that we drive down. Right, okay, so yeah, it's going to wait a little while again, so if it takes too long, guys, again, I'll just be sort of speeding up this part of the video. Okay, as you can see, guys, it was roadworks, so the traffic lights are now green, so we can proceed safely. Normally this would be a mini roundabout where you'd have to give way to the right and turn left. But as there's roadworks today, you don't need to give way to anyone. You just need to go when the lights are green. And obviously, driving around the roundabout the wrong way this time because of the traffic cones. Right, so we're down Jersey Road at the moment, in the Osterley kind of area. So we're just still in a 20-mile-an-hour speed zone. Pretty nice area here, as you can tell by the lovely big houses. But anyway, it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed zone. There's no parked cars on this road because there's actually a red route zone and cars aren't supposed to stop on this particular road. You can do so during particular times. I don't actually know what those times are, but if you read the signs, you'll be able to see when you can and can't stop. But usually people don't stop on this road anyway, so it's a fairly straightforward road. You just drive along, keep it 20 miles an hour, you can't go wrong. Up ahead is a mini roundabout, so when we get to the mini roundabout, we'll be following the road ahead, so just going straight on at the mini roundabout. As I get a little bit closer, I'll be slowing down a little bit, giving way to the right. Nothing from my right, nothing on my left either. Checking my middle and right mirrors out here as I go past this parked van. Okay, so this section of road, you're going to find lots of parked cars because you can stop on this road, you can even park on this road. So if you're driving down here, do be careful, you might come across some tricky meeting traffic situations. Not a lot going on at the moment, there's no cars coming towards me, so I can just safely drive on through this road. The speed bumps are quite high as well, so I would suggest that you slow down a little bit as you approach the speed bump so you don't go over them too fast. The speed limit's 20 anyway, so you're not going to be going over too quickly, but in some cars, depending on what car you're driving, the suspension might not take it too well if you go over these big speed bumps at too fast a speed. Luckily my car seems to be kind of okay with the speed bumps, so even if you go over them close to 20 miles an hour, it absorbs the bump pretty well. Right, okay, so yeah, just following the road ahead again. We'll be turning left shortly into a road called Bassett Gardens. It's actually the next road on the left. It's quite hard to see this road because it's actually on the bend itself. I'll show you what I mean when I get a little bit closer. You can see there's a couple of road signs here on my left hand side. So the first one tells you there's a bend in the road and the second one tells you there's a junction on the left. Okay, so I'm going to check my mirrors now. Signal left because I'm just coming up to my left turn. It's quite a sharp turn here because it's on that bend, so I'm just going to slow it down and go back into first gear. Lots of pull and push steering. Push full steering to go around the bend. Checking my mirrors after the turn. Safe to proceed. Looks like there's a lot of roadworks going on down this road as well. Or at least there's no temporary traffic lights. When we get to the end of the road, we'll be turning right. So end of the road, turning right. So checking my middle and right mirrors. Right indicator on. Just slowing the car down, popping it back into first gear. The junction's pretty closed at the moment, but as I get a little bit closer, I can actually see there's nothing coming, so yeah, we can carry on driving. Right, there's a big lorry there ahead of me. Just going a little bit slower. Is it closed? Looks like the road is closed. Alright, in that case, what I'll do is turn around and go the other way then. Big lorry there doing something. I wish they put some signs up telling you that the road was closed if they're going to work down here. Yeah, something like this could happen on your driving test. You know, you're driving along, you think everything's hunky-dory, driving test is going well, and then suddenly you come across a great big lorry doing something, and then you have to turn around and go back the other way. I mean, there wasn't too much room there for me to turn around, but luckily there was just enough space for me to be able to do so. I know the 3-point turn, or the turn in the road, isn't part of the driving test anymore. They took it out a couple of years back. But yeah, make sure you practice doing the 3-point turn with your driving instructor, so in case you do get a real life scenario like this, and you might have to do one to go back the other way. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this test route, but slight detour, just going round the roadworks. So where that lorry was, normally you'd go straight, you'd turn left, and then you'd end up on the road called Penwerris Road, I think. So I'm just going to go round in a circle to get back to that road. Which is the next road here on the left hand side, where this mini roundabout is. So checking my middle and left mirrors, left indicator on. It's a mini roundabout, so giving way to my right hand side, but yeah, there's nothing coming anyway, so it's safe to turn in. It's a fairly narrow road, so you just got to make sure you turn in carefully without clipping the curb on the left hand side. Right, so yep, this is Penwerris Road, which is the road I wanted to end up on just now, but the lorry obviously was blocking the road, so I couldn't get through. Yeah, so the next road on the left is where I would have come out from, but anyway, it's just a slight detour, going round in a circle to get back onto this road. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is turn left onto the A4, which is the Great West Road, turning left onto the A4. It's a left turn only here, so you don't really need to signal, to be honest, but if you do signal, it's not a problem. You can only go one direction, which is left onto this Great West Road, the A4 dual carriageway. It's quite a busy one, so sometimes you do have to sit here for a while and wait for the traffic to clear up. So at the moment there's a constant flow of traffic coming from my right hand side, so I can't go anywhere for at least the next 10-20 seconds, so just gotta sit tight and wait for the traffic to finish coming down the road. Usually when the traffic lights go red on the other side, then the cars stop coming. Right, there's a black car, but he's very far away and he's just turned into one of the side roads, so that gives me a chance to get out onto the dual carriageway. Once you're on the A4, it's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, so build up your speed, go through the gears. And then at the next set of traffic lights, we'll be taking a right turn, so checking my middle and right mirrors. There's no one there, it's safe to do so, so I'm going to indicate and then change lanes into the middle lane here. Check my mirrors again, signal right, and then moving into the lane further on the right hand side to allow myself to turn right at the next set of traffic lights. Traffic lights have gone red again, check my mirrors before I slow down. Come to a stop before the vehicle in front, keeping a safe distance behind, so just observing the tyres and tarmac rule, which is basically stopping behind the vehicle in front and leaving enough room so that you can see the bottom of the tyres and a bit of the road, so yeah, hence the name tyres and tarmac. Yeah, so we'll just be turning right here back into Thornbury Road. Well, this car in front of me has decided not to turn right and go back into the other lane, which means they're probably, well, I thought they might be blocking me if my light turned first, but luckily it didn't and their light turned before mine. So I'm just going to move up to the stop line. Yeah, and then wait patiently for my traffic light to turn green, which hopefully will be soon. But again guys, if it doesn't change soon, I'll be speeding up the video. Right guys, lights are green, off we go. It's a crossroad junction. There's no one coming the other way, so it's safe to turn. Back in the 20-mile-an-hour speed zone now, down Thornbury Road. This road is typical for meeting traffic scenarios. Always parks cars down this particular road. When I go past this next traffic island, the road becomes even narrower because there are now going to be parked cars on both sides of the road. So potentially you could come across a tricky meeting scenario. Watch out for any big vehicles coming from the opposite direction in, for example, because you might need to pull over to the left to give way. But if you're lucky, you might see that they might stop for you. And we've got a bend coming up here actually, so it's quite hard to see around the corner. So again, I'm just going to drop off the gas a little bit, allow the car to slow down, try and look around the corner. There's no one there, so we can safely carry on going. A couple of speed bumps on this road as well. There's a speed bump coming up right now. It's quite a high one, so I'm just going to drop my speed a little bit so I can go over the speed bump not too violently. There's a van there, he's coming through that gap, so I'm just going to tuck into the left. He looks like he's giving way to me. Okay, so let's carry on. Thank you very much. So my first intention was to tuck into the gap on the left hand side to give way to him, but he slowed down. I saw that he flashed his light, so I took that as he was giving way to me, and yeah, just carried on going. Here's a roundabout, going straight on here, no one coming from the right hand side. Yeah, so guys, if people flash their lights at you during your driving test, don't automatically assume they mean that they want to give way to you, because it might not mean that at all. They could be flashing their lights for any number of reasons. So yeah, just take a couple of seconds to think about what exactly they meant by flashing their headlights. For me, the van driver slowing down and flashing his headlight, it was pretty obvious that he was giving way to me, and there was no other meaning, other intention that the van driver intended. But yeah, just be careful. So we've got a little bit of a meeting traffic scenario here, squeezing between the motorbike and a parked car at the end of the road, turning right, checking my mirrors, right signal on. It's a busy road here, could be quite challenging to turn right, especially when you've got loads of cars coming from either direction. So at the moment, just looking to my right hand side, I've got 3 vehicles including the bus, 2 cars, nothing on the left at the moment. The right's clear, the left is clear, we're good to go. As you turn, there's a zebra crossing straight away, so look out for any pedestrians crossing the road. I've seen loads of people turn out of that road and then come across a pedestrian straight away and have to slam on the brakes and stop. So yeah, just be on the lookout for any pedestrians as you turn right coming out of that road. Okay, so we're back down London Road. It's the same section of road that we used earlier, so the speed limit here is 30 miles an hour. I'm just scanning left and right. There's no one at the zebra crossing, so it's safe to carry on driving. And then we're going to be turning left at the traffic lights here, so just turning left at these traffic lights. There's a bus lane on my left, so I'm just avoiding the bus lane, checking my middle and left mirrors now. There's nothing in the bus lane, so I can merge with that particular lane. Checking my mirrors again, middle and left signal on. The traffic lights have just gone red, so I'm just slowing down and stopping behind the stop line. Right, okay, so nearly back at the test centre. There's just a couple more roads to go. Usually the test route would probably be a little bit quicker than it has been today, but as you can see from the video, we've come across loads of different crossroads, sorry, not crossroads, roadworks today, so we've had to sit around in a lot of traffic. But yeah, that's just the nature of the beast, eh? Sometimes you're on your driving test and you might get stuck in a bit of traffic. Right, lights are green. Check my mirrors, make sure there's no cyclist that's come up beside me on the left. That blue car went round the bend very quickly when his light changed, obviously in a hurry. So 20 mile an hour is the speed limit down this particular road. The blue car in front of me is going very fast, well over 20 mile an hour I'm guessing. Straight on here at the mini roundabout, so just checking down Pears Road to see if there's anyone coming up that road. Looks pretty safe, so it's safe to carry on driving. Right then guys, so I'll be taking the next road coming up on the right hand side, which is Farnell Road I believe. Checking my middle and right mirrors. Right signal comes on, looking ahead, and there's nothing coming from ahead apart from this big lorry. Looking into the new road, it's safe to do so, so I'm going to turn in without cutting the corner It is a two-way road, this section of road, so be careful, there could be cars coming around the bend. Okay, just heading down the road now. It's quite narrow, there's always parked cars here on the left hand side, so just be wary you're not too close to any parked cars on the left. You don't want to be taking off anyone's wing mirror on your driving test. But equally as important, don't be too close to the curb on the right hand side, because you don't want to hit the curb on the right. At the end of the road I'll be taking a left, so left at the end of the road. Round the bend, straighten up the wheel, checking my middle and left mirrors, left indicator on, back into first gear. I'm going to check both ways here, safe both ways, out we go. Back onto Wharton Road now, I believe. We'll be turning right at the next mini roundabout, which will lead us back to the driving test centre down Fleming Way. Okay, checking my middle and right mirrors, right signal on. Both sides look clear at the moment. The left has to give way to me, he's slowing down. Around the roundabout safely. Check my middle and right mirrors, because I've got to drive around this driving school car to get out into the middle of the road. Now we're still down Wharton Road. This is the road that leads back to the test centre. You've probably seen many times before on my previous videos. It's quite a tight road, so make sure you keep a good distance away from parked vehicles. And obviously be wary of any potential meeting scenarios. You may find yourself having to stop a few times on this road for giving way to traffic coming from the opposite direction. There's a big bus coming at the moment, so I'm just going to check my mirrors and slow down. I don't think I'll get through that gap with the H20 coming down the road, so I'm just going to wait here behind this black car. Okay, he's actually moving off this Polo in front of me, so he's actually doing a 3-point turn by the looks of things, so I'll just hang back here, give him some space so he can complete his manoeuvre. Right, now we can move off safely. Just going to wait here for this BSM car to go through the gap, and then I can move out a little bit further away from the parked vehicle. Right, coming back to the road where we started from now. So the test centre is the next road on the right hand side after the mini roundabout, but not going down there because it's going to be busy outside the test centre, so going down this road instead. Ruskin Road, yep, that's the one, Ruskin Road. This is where I started the test from. So that is it, guys. That concludes this particular test route at Isleworth Test Centre. It was slightly different from the route I intended to take because of that big lorry doing whatever he was doing down Bassett Gardens, but only slightly. I mean, I did a 3-point turn or a 5-point turn or whatever it was, went back the other way, went round in a circle, and then rejoined Penwerris Road, which was the original road I wanted to take. Besides that, the rest of the test route was exactly the same as it should have been. On a different day you would have had less roadworks and it would have been more free flowing, but today there was a bit of roadworks and it took a little bit longer than expected, so hopefully I'll just speed up all those sections of the video that obviously when I was just sitting around in traffic. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Please subscribe if you like the content, and give it a like, and any comments if you're unsure about anything in the video. So thanks a lot, guys. See you on the next video. Bye for now.